It's a breath of fresh air, guys. I'm here to kind of theologize. I'm here to talk about fear and what fear does to people, and how that pushes them into places they don't want to be, and how we look at politics, we look at everything, the judicial system, we look at everything that is hindering, and but it comes down to individual, person by person basis when it comes down to people making decisions out of fear. Um, Giving into fear is toxic for the world. Giving into sensationalism. There's a theory kind of buzzing around that the internet, when it first was established, originally it was meant to be for medical students to share information, to teach each other. The very foundation of AOL was to teach each other and share information, to share facts with each other. And over a course of time, that kind of got over sensationalized. Different theories, conspiracies, different web pages, people taking it on their own part, take their own conspiracies and add on to it and add to the fear and everything. It became this big social experiment of over sensationalizing stories. So then eventually um, there becomes this division of different ways of thinking, more so just a different way of thinking, and different viewpoints of different fractions. So it pulls everything further and further away. And then when you look at the mass media and everything, how that added onto it, it just gave the sensationalized views on both sides, on many sides. Um, but the fact still remains that this country was broken when 9/11 happened. Now let me go back to, for example, the Y2K virus and everything. Everybody gets paranoid, everybody thinks something bad's going to happen. Nothing happens. So it gets all this news coverage and all these stories, and nothing bad actually happens. But then something like 9/11 does happen. Um, and we just got to look at, from that point, where we invested our energy and where the enemy started coming from, or in our perception, who the enemies actually were. Because the enemies, on a person to person basis, were those people making decisions in every part of government that were based off of fear, making hasty decisions, power grabbing people who are already invested and saw things as a great opportunity to make a little extra money, like a little extra cash. That's the truth. They saw we can do two things at the same time: make money and do this. But the making the money part was kind of at the forefront of already having a plan to go in and seize oil and seize land and things like that. Um, it's very disenchanting and disheartening, especially, a lot of great developments have also happened. I got to veer away from that. The internet was meant to share stories and facts with each other and not have any of that distorted, not have any of that taken away from the true spirit of the American people and the freedom of us to express ourselves and our voices. Um, I think though when the media or different outlets take control of that, and they get the attention for the sensationalized negative, that has been very, very toxic for this country. Um, and There's a lot of very disturbing people out there in the world. That is true. Um, at many points, we don't know where those people are, where they come from. But you following the greed, it's not always following the money, because what I'm going to tell you here too is kind of interesting how those people, the greed and the corruption, it got worse and worse and worse in many, 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 many sectors, and this goes global. Um, but what's heartbreaking is those people that saw the opportunity to make money never had that little switch inside of them, to see that they could make money and profit off of building a great country and building greatness and building, um, um, free energy, getting past that point, and building up the environment, making it safer, investing and making the right investments is what's truly profitable when we start having healthier people, stronger people, all these people that are out of shape, this is about health, actually having health and stuff. Um, it's about the health and the well-being, and those people not understanding that us being healthier and being more active and being more involved also produces a stronger economy and better workmanship, which also strengthens this country, and so forth, and it just continues to accumulate and accumulate. So for whatever reason, um, people that had their hands in the wrong places, all the dirty places, they couldn't turn on that switch, or turn off that switch. And even though people around them and over their shoulders are saying, hey man, just take a second, look at this information before we get too hasty and go forward with this or that. And then what happens to that is it gets them further in trouble, and they keep making more mistakes and making more problems and causing more problems, and getting more pissed off and more angry and more pissed off and more angry. And that's where the sensationalism of those characters comes into the media, and then that becomes popular because they're basically pissed off because A, they're making the wrong decisions, or the people are feeding them wrong information to make those wrong decisions. Um, and B, um, the opposition already sees those people as enemies, so they kind of treat them, don't talk to them, don't worry about them, and they kind of push them aside. And it takes a little effort on that side of things to say, listen, man, listen, brother, I don't know what you've been through. I don't like the attitude. I don't like the energy. I don't know what you've been through, but this is more than just you. This is more than just about you. So you really got to get your shit together. We're here to help you get up off your feet and work with us on something better for this country. Um, and um, there's a lot of There's a lot of good people that have been exploited because they got pulled into something and made profit or made decisions or calculations that were wrong. And then coming back to that, it's kind of like they get badgered for the decisions, even though they're still trying to do right. Um, but and then it gets further and further and worse for people like that. So it's kind of what I'm trying to say here is, and this is extremely relevant for people in government and politics and congressmen and everything. So those people end up getting exploited. So these other people will swoop in and say, "Oh, you did that, so you better vote this way because we got this on you." And exploitation goes off the charts. It's just off the charts, and nobody barely even sees that or recognizes that in the media. So even those people we see as our enemies on either side are in ways being exploited. They're getting these emails from different people that are um, coer coercion. What's the word? Um, Manipulating them into to um, doing worse so that they can be controlled, and that sensation has got to stop. Because there's this over thing, this thing about being a stronger character and everything. Yes, that's true. To stand up and say no, no more, enough. I've had enough. I have no part of this. No, we're going with this. No, we're not being part of this. No, I will not. I refuse to be part of that. That's where it comes to the free will of each individual person saying no, I will not have any part of this. Thank you, goodbye. Um, okay, okay, guys, what can we work on? Because there's a lot of great opportunities here to build a great country, to work together, to build those bridges, and to help the abundance and the wealth of the people, the middle class, the lower class, and the upper class, and building those bridges between all of those people so we don't keep going in a bad direction. Um, and sensationalism of war and the needs to go to war is just more reasons. It's more reasons to spend more money on military weapons, spend more military, getting the military beefed up and everything because we want to have that ego-driven America. But what America doesn't realize on a huge level is we have been the bastards for a very, very long time, and we owe the world an apology for so many mistakes that we've made. But we keep going forward and going forward without any apologies to other countries, saying we screwed up, we made the wrong decision, we're sorry. How can we help you? How can we fix you? We bombed Baghdad. We bombed this country. We bombed innocent people, and out of reason at the time for a hasty decision that ended up being empty in so many ways. And then we're like, okay, we can't admit fault because that admits weakness, right? And then we become weaker and weaker as a country. Um, It's a self-destructive behavior that is so common in politics right now, and every president I think could get understand this. So it's, if they're not going to apologize, I'll apologize to people all across the world. I'm sorry, America's ego and America's stubbornness. We are paying for it right now because um, I want to apologize to all those countries: Afghanistan, Iraq, Baghdad. Um, Russia, North Korea, all these things, these triggering this unnecessary conflict, this war of trying to be the macho man is getting way out of hand, and it's getting everybody else in trouble. Even those countries, it's getting them in trouble, and they don't even realize it. And these other countries, um, and coming to terms too in our own country, coming back to our own country, guys, here in America. We send people overseas to sacrifice their lives who end up killing innocent people, not even sacrificing, murdering innocent people, and then they come back and they don't have the proper treatment. There's no reason for that anymore. Enough of that. We got to treat our military respect. We beef up the military, but we can't even treat our military right and give them the proper um, honor. Thank you for your service. It's starting to mean nothing because it's losing its value because we say thank you for your service. Welcome back to the country. We just created a really crappy country for you guys to come back to. So everything you've been fighting for now, at present moment, is a complete disaster, and we are sorry for that. Um, and we're willing to do anything we can do to help fix that. And this is generalizing a little bit. This is no red or blue situation right here, by the way, guys. Just so that is clear. We can point the blaming the finger. I guess there's a ball busting part of this too. When you look at where the money comes from, where the lobbyists come from, where the mistakes are made, and who's not allowing to negotiate, who's blaming the other, or who is negotiating, saying, yes, let's work with this, and they say, okay, we'll work with you. Here's what we want, and they say, is this what you want? Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, we'll do this. No, that's not what we want. Never mind, we were just kidding. We're not going to allow you to do that. We got to recognize that pattern in society, guys, because it's all about winning. But when people on that side of the spectrum just care about winning, they end up losing dramatically. And the blame ends up taking out that safety net from them in the long run, and they don't see that. And they continue not to see that. And they're losing their strongest assets and their strongest dignity and honor on their party. And we see that bubbling up all across America. Um, and then again, on the other side, too, on our fault of um, how do I say this correctly? Seeing where a lot of the toxic behavior is coming from and knowing that is mostly true, but then pinning that as the enemy and saying, no, we don't want to work with you anymore. We're done with you. You're the enemy. You're the racist. You're the homophobe. You're and all of that. And then we block them into a corner, and we don't allow them to even when we see now a lot of I swear to God, guys, this is what's happening. Is a lot of people who are trying to escape that party are coming over to the Democratic side, registering as Democrats, but still having Republican views, just because they want to be disassociated with their party and still want to have that feeling of winning. And that goes into gerrymandering as well, where the very fact that gerrymandering was made illegal or is being proposed to be illegal in Pennsylvania, which would mean a completely empty, unequal playing field. People vote for who they want. Good. There's no restrictions. There's no barriers. There's no barging. There's nothing like that to stop the person who deserves to win by doing the right thing. And gaining support. All these dirty ads we've had for so long in campaigning, aren't you guys sick of that in America? That does nothing in this world to say vote for me because the other guy is bad. That's the way it's been all along, and I'm pretty freaking fucking sick of that. Um, it gets us nowhere. How about talk about yourself, what you're going to do, how you're going to solve the problems. Don't make any false, we're going to make America great. We're going to improve the economy. We're going to create jobs. No, no, I don't want to hear that anymore, guys. I want to hear the plan, how you're going to introduce this into this part of the community so that it does create jobs. And not just numbers. Don't talk numbers with us and treat us and undermine the American citizens by putting this thing up here that we don't quite understand, and you still never follow through with it and still never show results. It's atrocious. It's atrocity. It's unsophisticated. It's not intelligent. It's diplomacy and the bureaucracy of everything is getting in the way. All the paperwork is getting in the way of veterans getting care. Um, bam, there's jobs right there. We take care of that problem and we create jobs all across America because you can sit at your home computer to process the stacks and stacks of papers for veterans, but our congressmen will not allow that to happen for whatever reason. Um, they say we don't have enough help. We look at the health community and we talk about mental illness and I can testify to this. I want to go in and have counseling and therapy. I can't do it because there's not enough people. They say, okay, we'll get you an appointment for 2 months from now. What? And then there's so many people that are natural healers or natural counselors, and then you got to go through the training and get books and books and spend buttloads of cash to get these degrees and everything when there's still qualified people. I feel like that needs to be basic training for basic counseling that is valuable because you go to a friend because you trust them and you always have that one friend that you go to. Um, they're here to hear. They're here to listen. They always have good advice. Or those people, they'll sit there and listen, and then they'll just say one thing, and you're like, oh my God, he or she's been listening. They get it, and it's valuable. They have no prior psychological training or training like that, but it's useful. So how do we introduce something like that when we're talking about mental illness and caring for each other in this country? Um, how do we make it easier for the health industry to care for one another, to get the proper care for diagnosis and not over diagnosing and over what if this is crazy, like I said again, benefiting off of stronger, healthier people. We pay so much money for pharmaceuticals and everything. What if we just got a prescription for a free gym membership? Proper diet and proper diet and exercise is what they always say. How many of you do it? I'm guilty as charged too. How many of you do it? But what if that was part of the health plan was for a gym membership? So there's no excuses not to go to the gym. And a matter of fact, once more people start going to the gym, it becomes us getting on the bandwagon. You can't wait to go to the gym because you're going to see all your friends there. All those people that normally didn't go to the gym are now at the gym and making health foods more accessible, more available, all this stuff. These plans that Trump's got, these food um, rations, are you fucking kidding me? Was that your best idea? Was that you putting your best foot forward? Are these ideas that you work because on the liberal side it's pretty gay, it's pretty fruity to have a healthy diet? And no, listen, we're not talking about vegan diets or anything. We're talking about health food, straight up health food. What do we need to have a healthy body? Okay, we're going to give these people, we're going to make it easier for these people. So these mental illnesses and psychological problems um, don't cause people to be irrational, to be ill. And the people, in my mind, I think a lot of these people that are making these decisions for Americans are pretty ill when it comes down to it because there's no rational reason behind it. And a second psychological evaluation by the American people should be definitely implemented. But of course, when we talk about fear and irrational people, people that don't like to be challenged, they would do anything in their power not to be challenged and call themselves something to be revered as a leader or something to be revered as respected. But what I think it comes down to is people knowing that they should not, deep down inside, here's a psychological evaluation, deep down inside, they don't even respect themselves. So they demand respect for people and by people. And we don't need that kind of leadership. We don't need that kind of leadership at all. They don't respect other people. They don't respect themselves, and it reflects outwardly on how they respect other people, even their own constituents and those people next to them. Um, it is. um, but again, we look at so freeing up and taking care of those issues. Getting to the core of taking care of each other, listening to each other. Um, but then on top of that, there is the problem solving thing, guys. I'm telling you, the key to our freedom exists. The keys to peace exist. The tools for peace exist. In these other videos, I put as much as I can out there. Um, you know, if it's the fear of people becoming united, what that says about the soul of those people is they want themselves to be torn apart and split. That's what it really comes down to. They enjoy the fact that their heart and their soul is crashing and crumbling and being torn apart from the inside out. And now, is that the reality? Or is that my bad perception of those people? Um, so it gets down to really, um, it gets down to a lot, but what it gets down to too is when we talk about intelligence and sophistication and the ability to solve problems and implement problems and be able to be the problem solvers, using the artistic mind, using the number crunchers, combining that with the problem solvers, and reaching across and knowing, one party, two party split. That's why we have all this problem. So there's got to be a rational way to introduce a third party, a fourth party, a fifth party, and kind of, like Parliament, how they have it out there. They have representatives from different religions. They do it right. They do it correctly, because then we have leaders that represent each person, the LGBTs community, the Black community, um, um, uh, uh, Islam community, Buddha community, the Mexican community, Native American community. We need all their input to make decisions to make this country fully function as a well-disciplined machine to build a stronger America. And that's just kind of the reason behind this, my thinking, and it makes sense. And people are afraid of change. That's what all really comes down to. People are so damn afraid of change that they're willing to go to war for it. Do we need that kind of leadership? No. No, we do not need that kind of leadership. They're willing to go to war because they're afraid to change. Buddy, this is 2018, you know? Stop trying to drag us in the mud and pull us back down to wherever. And then here's the thing, is if you want to go back in time, we'll keep going back in time, and we'll keep going back in time, and then actually look at the way things were perceived back then and how people lived. And even when it comes to war and everything, how it was more sophisticated, more intelligent, and for more purpose, and it was more understandable back then than it is now. What we have now is just an immature game of power grabbing of over masculine people defending their own insecurities, instead of being that stronger man, that stronger husband, that stronger father or mother. Um, blaming everybody. Oh, it's not me. It's you. 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 No, it's you. 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 No, it's you. No, it's you. No, it's you. No, it's you. I can do this forever. It's you. It's you. No, it's you. It's you. No, it's you. No, it's you. No, it's you. Isn't that freaking annoying? Because that's exactly what we're doing. No, it's you. Is it me? No, it's you. No, no, it's you. It's you. It's him. It's her. It's him. It's a gays. It's a blacks. It's a Nazis. It's the Republicans, Democrats. We can go on and on. It's you. 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 Isn't that annoying? Because that's exactly what we're doing, guys. Instead of saying, "Is it me?" Maybe that change has to come right here. Maybe that change has to come in here, and then looking in that mirror right inside yourself, digging deep inside yourself on an emotional level. Breaking yourself emotionally is not weakness, because after you do it, man, you heal and you feel that beauty just come within yourself, and you stop looking at yourself as being ugly. You stop looking at yourself as, you put on a smile when you're out there in the congressional meetings and everything, and then you go home and you hate yourself. So then you end up going somewhere else, you go on vacation, or you stay around your constituents because you don't want to go home and face yourself. You do as much as you can not to face yourself or even your spouse, because it means facing yourself. And um, so that's where we got to shift here in America. Um, and that comes to the free will of each of those people. But we should not be suffering because those people refuse to do that. It's kind of a reality check. This reality that has been bought and paid for is absolutely um, not what we need in the future. It's definitely not what we need in the future. The lessons are being learned. Um, it's given everybody the opportunity to speak their voice, to shout from the top of the rooftops of everything you believe and what you believe. The gay community has got a lot of backlash. A lot of backlash. Um, is being perceived as the enemy. As being the sinners and the devils. We gotta get past that, guys. We really gotta get past that because you're making yourselves look extremely freaking ugly and extremely like, whoa, that's where that's coming from. Whoa. I don't know how else to put that, but as a gay person, it's like, okay, I saw that negativity coming from the religious sector. That's their beliefs, and I'm part of that. I'm like, okay, that's your beliefs. Leave me alone. And now we see the constant attack going back and forth, and it's like you're grasping on to the old beliefs so much that you're willing to go to civil war. You want to go to war over this whole thing, and then you end up becoming those people that cause revelations to happen. Um, and this is God's earth. This is the way I see it. This is God's earth. You respect the earth. You treat the earth as your own and as your neighbor. The challenge of the Bible, I believe, was to build the wonders that God has provided from each of us on this planet. I know um, but the thing is I will testify right now. I'm right here. That if there's any backlash on me, I could maybe I'm setting you guys up. Maybe I'm setting you guys up because I'm gonna get some backlash from you guys, and then each thing that would come back at me, I'll be like, here's a solution. Here's a solution. Now let's vote on it. Let's bring this to everybody in America. Let's vote on it. You want to come at me again? Let's vote. I got something else for that. And I'm not the only person with solutions. I guarantee that. I know there's a lot of great minds out there. Um, so it's kind of like, you want to attack me? Fine. Let's let people decide what they want, what they really want. Do they want to come together? Do they see the potential for us to come together? And they're sick of all the negativity. They want a breath of fresh air. They're sick of even their own side suffering because of this pointing fingers and blaming each other. It goes way beyond the psychology of what's wrong with society, the mental abuse, the physical abuse, the child abuse. The spousal abuse comes from men and women. I got to say that too. That's, I think, men and women, is a huge thing too. Um, but all this is coming to the surface, and we're turning. Why are the people that always blame, especially the gay community? I have a problem with this whole thing about save your kids from the gays. When I swear to God, if you look at these last few years, the darkness has bubbled to the surface, and it keeps coming from a certain side, and it's always been that the majority of it has been from homophobic preachers, from very disgusting type people who have been hiding that kind of child abuse. They just saw us as an easy scapegoat to put all of their pressure on us to divert the attention from their own sins that are way worse than a man loving a man and having consensual sex and a consensual relationship. Way worse. But there's just people confused out there too, like people who have never seen a transgender person. I don't think it's hatred at first, it's just confusion. Maybe it's our lack of understanding where they're coming from too. So here I am negotiating, not negotiating, but being reasonable. You think of a small town and a transgender person coming into town. Um, I don't think there's immediate hate of something they've never seen before or something they've never known before. It's kind of curiosity, but then there's all these other stigmas that is attached to it. And then when you're around friends and the friend says something, you're like, "Well, I don't agree with that, but I should agree with that because I don't want to look weak or I don't want to look like I support homosexuals because I haven't quite decided yet. So I'm going to say something too." And then it kind of gets on that train of saying the most homophobic joke first to cover up the fact that maybe you're not so homophobic. It's just a weird and bizarre thing that you're not exactly homophobic, but if you say gay first, you would seem less empathetic towards the person that your friend's making fun of, and that's the basic psychology of what's going on too. And it's the same thing with racism. There's this whole sensationalism of racism because I look at Washington. I know damn well that these people, that us as Democrats, we look at them and like they're racists or homophobes, but I know damn well that these people have met gay and African American people. They've had conversations. They've shook their hands. They had great conversations, I'm sure, and they left away and they're probably like, huh, okay, I didn't know that person was gay. Or, well, if they're black, okay, they knew they were, okay, they knew they're black, but they're like, I really liked some of these ideas. This is a great conversation. I didn't feel intimidated. I didn't feel, but then they get that feeling and then they go back and they start chatting. We got this law we got to pass and everything, and it goes in that same direction where the friend says something first. We have to win over here, so then you have to vote this way to win over here. So then you can't like that person. You have to like this. You see what I'm saying, guys? So that's the over sensational, and that's the snowball effect of racism and homophobia. Because and there are true monsters out there. I won't tell you that. I won't say that isn't true, but the majority of them just want attention. They will say anything just for attention, and that goes into the whole mentality of neglect and abuse when they were younger. Um, so it's just this whole cycle of things that's not being emotionally addressed in this country, but people refuse because they're like, well, what about Russia? What about Hillary Clinton? What about, see, and when we look at those topics and everything, does that matter? Right, like right now, does that matter? Because we're not really taking care of that part of ourselves, I think. And I've gotten a lot of backlash from my own side too. And it's kind of gross and disgusting how people are like, oh, how could you, for example, um, when the Me Too movement with the Oscars and Me Too and Ivanka Trump liked Oprah Winfrey's speech. Now, to me, what that says is okay, Ivanka did probably actually see something in Oprah Winfrey that she admired. And she's like, yes, I actually do get it. I got to say something. Whether she couldn't, whether she knew it would be a bad political move or not, she still took the chance. She still stood up and she said you had admiration for Oprah Winfrey, right? Um, and then on our side of it, people were like, oh, hell no, you can't do that. Hell no. Get out of here. Get out of here. Hell no, like denying her any chance. And then here's the kicker, guys, is like, well, you can say it too, like a lot of the views of Oprah Winfrey and everything are very similar to the Obama administration. So here we have somebody like Ivanka kind of saying similar, that she admires things with Obama, Michelle Obama. You can put it that way, you can put that twist onto it. And they're like, oh, hell no, get out of here. Hell no. Hell no, get out of here. What is wrong with you guys? Give these people the chance. You have Melania talking about anti-bullying, and then everybody's like, "Well, you better fix your husband first." Are you kidding me? Where do you think abuse comes from? It comes from a woman being silent in an abusive relationship and her having no outlet whatsoever and feeling encaged. So then she goes to an outlet to try to vent that, to try to advocate for that as a SOS, as a scream for help. Um, and then we don't allow that to happen because she didn't fix it. That's like saying, um, put your husband in jail first before you even talk about the abuse or anything. No, women that have been abused get consultation from other women that have abused, and then they can deal with it much easier instead of skipping that step, because the reason there's in situations is because intimidation is used, and blackmail and all this other stuff. Um, and so that's a process, guys. And so here I am. But anyway, so again, with this video, I'll just put it out and testify as a gay man. I will say this as a gay man. Back in 2012, the solutions were brought forth that it was a pattern that started to unfold that proved that peace can be achieved amongst both parties. So what we saw after that, and it was my responsibility to get that out, but I was dealing with every branch, every fraction, every challenge upon challenges that even goes beyond what a lot of, and I will testify this, what any world leader who wants to say anything about me, I will still even challenge that I have been more challenged than even you, my friend. That seems like a little bit of an ego, but I will challenge that and testify to that. And I have to describe how, but I'll do that in another video. But it was wrong. It was wrong what I was put through. It was absolutely wrong, and it's wrong for anybody to put me through those challenges, and then take credit for the result of the solutions that I was challenged with. So I would say a big fuck you to those people who even tried to do that, because I was the person that was put through misery. I was a person who was basically enslaved to come up with solutions to problems that other people are causing. And the fact that I'm a gay man, I don't know if that has anything to do with that. I don't know if that's the reason I was targeted. But it shouldn't. Maybe that's the own fear of those people that said, "Oh my God, is this guy gay? What's that say about gay people? Oh my God, or should we be afraid of gay people? Should we suppress gay people? Oh my God, what's going on?" No, guys, no, stupid. No, stupid. There's so many amazing and intelligent people out there. It just so happens, and I am blessed that I am gay, because I have pride in being gay, and I have pride in who I am. I will testify to that, and I will go through every bit of judgment that is required if you so induce those challenges, or induce those that exploitation, or that obligatory bigotry towards a person, to me, because it will come back tenfold at you guys. And if that's what's happening, is you guys already know it's coming back at you, because you attack and 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 attack and attack and attack and you attack and you attack so much that you didn't realize that you're supposed to be protecting your own side, and now you have no safety net. And then you want to blame me or punish me, or put lockdown on the good people in America, the good Republicans in America, those people that do see those people in the middle who are sorry. Um, So again, and there speaks a lot of intelligence. I've gone through so many challenges. It goes into so many things like science and psychology that goes way outside the realm. You guys don't understand this. It goes way outside the realm of the artistic mind and the artistic solutions, which is hard, because I sit there and I preach about the artistic solutions, but I've been put through challenges of how to negotiate with terrorists, or how to deal with terrorists, or how to deal with so many damn different characters, and then coming up with something that nobody has really ever put forth out there into, um, and it comes down to the psychological and emotional evaluation of who we're dealing with. And so many people refuse to do that in this world because they think it's a weakness. And that's the problem, is not looking at that and spearheading that, and then looking at, holy shit, this is a kick-ass idea. I never thought of this. This is actually pretty brilliant, guys. Um, and so leaders, world leaders and everything, ugh, it's hard for many people to understand what I elusively talk about, what I was involuntarily put through. which is a form of slavery, which is something that the government did and chose to do, and the military chose to do. Indentured slavery is basically the title of it, and that's a charge, Except, and I will say this for myself too, I know that the solutions are there. So um, and this is rare because this thing has happened to other people. I'm the only excuse that they have to have done this to anybody. I'm the only known excuse that I know of that produced a result that justified something they didn't know was justifiable, because I was attacked from the very beginning, and then they started to see there's actually something here that could be beneficial to society. It was an attack and an experiment and a guinea pig experiment, just like MLK Ultra, just like all that stuff you hear out there, but from a distance and in the worst ways possible, scariest ways possible. Um, but me as a person who creates and tries to inspire, a problem solver, um, it gets into a lot of psychology, and it gets into a lot of um, you know, and and here's the thing too, and this also gets down to the psychology, right? The mental stability of everything, and myself, right? I know, I came from a world previous to this, before this. I was introduced. Um, I was in my yoga practice and meditation. I understood what entails with that and the benefits of that and everything. So I was luckily, I was rooted in that. Not to mention my meditation practice being music and arts and entertainment and everything like that, the dancing and all of that stuff. Um, Gay, right? Gay, right? Um, but then what's even gayer about this whole situation is those people who are the masculine, over masculinized people who make hasty decisions out of fear, and push us further into fear because they made piss poor decisions, because they refuse to look at the emotional aspects and this gay side of everything, and then want to blame. I don't know who they're able to blame in that situation. I really don't. Um, I actually really don't know who they can blame. Um, uh, huh, wow. So, but being put through a lot of this pressure and this agonizing situation, this complete introduction for a systematic way of introducing paranoia to an individual, to put them through all these challenges. A lot of things can be a result from it. You can say schizophrenia. Here's the thing too. I was making another video too before I even label myself as schizophrenic, because I know that the evidence is quite absolutely there, and that's almost like I feel like it's almost more paranoia on the other side of the spectrum, that the other side is so paranoid, which is funny. It would be really funny if a man like myself put enough paranoia into the other side of me knowing that it is not schizophrenia and paranoia. I'm challenging that in the legal system about labeling myself either schizophrenic or depressed or anything, challenging that so I don't get labeled that. Um, to be knowing clinically sane. I'm a crazy guy. I'm definitely a crazy guy, but being clinically insane. And that's kind of another part of the video was, do I get registered as schizophrenic and then live off of the government and get paid by the government to be schizophrenic? And I don't want to do that. I refuse to do that, actually. I don't want to do that because I'm a working man. I want to be in